If you want to understand the deep structure of American debate about the country's role in the world, two enduring perspectives frame everything. Let me lay them out. Isolationism holds that Americans should focus their resources and attention on domestic problems and avoid entanglement in foreign conflicts and alliances that do not directly affect American security or interests. The isolationist tradition has deep roots in American history. George Washington's farewell address warned against permanent alliances and entangling foreign commitments. The Monroe Doctrine of 1823 asserted American dominance in the Western Hemisphere and sought to limit European involvement. And after World War I, the United States pursued a broadly isolationist posture, refusing to join the League of Nations that Woodrow Wilson had championed and declining to engage seriously with the rise of fascism in Europe through much of the 1930s. The isolationist experiment of the 1920s and 30s was fairly widely judged a failure when World War II demonstrated that the United States could not remain insulated from global conflicts of sufficient scale. That judgment shaped American foreign policy for the next 80 years. Interventionism holds that to keep the Republic safe and advance its values, the United States must be actively engaged in shaping the international environment and willing to use its power, diplomatic, economic, and military, to produce desired outcomes. The interventionist tradition became dominant after World War II and defined American foreign policy through the Cold War. The United States built and led a network of military alliances, NATO, bilateral alliances with Japan, South Korea, Australia, and others, maintained a global military presence, intervened in conflicts from Korea to Vietnam to Grenada, and used economic and diplomatic tools to promote democratic governance and open markets. This approach is associated with the concept of liberal internationalism, the view that American security is best served by building a rule-based international order congenial to American values and interests rather than by withdrawal. Layered onto all of this is the concept of American Exceptionalism, the belief that the United States is a unique nation with a special mission to promote liberty, democracy, and self-governance in the world. Exceptionalism has animated and complicated American foreign policy throughout the country's history. It can produce a missionary impulse to spread American values globally, sometimes through military force, the Iraq War being a recent example. It can also produce a reluctance to be bound by international law and institutions that constrain American freedom of action. Since exceptionalists sometimes argue that the United States, as a uniquely virtuous power, should not be subject to the same constraints as less virtuous ones. And finally, democratic peace theory. The empirical finding that democracies rarely go to war with one another has provided a liberal internationalist justification for promoting democracy abroad as a contribution to American security. So the deep debate about isolationism versus interventionism is also a debate about what kind of country America is.